fishing. Crimpy's Fishing Show.
Saturday morning News Talk ZB, welcome along. It is time for Fishing with Crimpy. I'm Regan and here's your host, Mr. Daryl Crimp.
I'm confused. Completely.
We knew that.
I've just got no idea where I am, whether I'm coming or going, and I mean that in the nicest possible way.
Yeah.
But I certainly know that I'm not going. However, good to be here, Regan.
It is good to be here once again on a Saturday.
I've got no idea whether it is really. No, seriously. I've had like months, not months from hell, but months of confusion. I'm writing a book. I've got back into writing books, being an author again.
Yep.
And I'm absolutely loving it. It's nearing to the end. It was due back at the publishers in end of February. Nearing the end of the book. But this chap, Murphy, has been haunting me all the way through.
Murphy?
Yeah, Murphy's Law.
Oh.
You know, sit down to do something and some guy will come along and stuff it up. Interruptions to the left, interruptions to the right.
Me on the door.
Yeah.
What do you think of that?
So I shut the door at the office and said, okay, stay away, leave me to it. And I said to Annette, keep everybody away. So I hear this. And then, yeah, come in. And it's Annette, and she comes in and she says, sorry to bother you. Just checking, are you all right? Yes, thanks, just don't disturb me. And then, sorry to bother you. Would you like a cup of tea? No, if I wanted a cup of tea, I would have gone and made one. Just reminding you that we've got a sales meeting at 1:30. I know, I'll be there at 1:30. What is it about women? Hey? They don't like to see a man happy at work, do they?
I think she's just looking after you, mate, because you need
Looking
it.
after me?
You need it.
I do now. I'm so stressed. I'm on pills.
But it's good that the book's nearly coming to an end and you've
Who
got
cares?
that sorted.
What's happening on the water?
Okay.
People want to hear about fishing.
Yeah, you're right. Not about your book.
No, they'll hear about that when it comes out for Christmas.
They will.
Start saving.
There's the plug.
Carry on.
Kaikoura, rigger being caught off the beach in Kaikoura, so they're still out there. There's a great photo on our Facebook page of quite a large one that's just been caught, and they're still good eating fish.
And the Kaikoura fishing competition is this weekend.
Yes, it is too.
So
It's on right now.
Yeah, so if you are doing it, congratulations. If you're not, bad luck.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot happening in Kaikoura.
There is.
What's happening with the kawai?
There's a few kawai still in the rivers at the moment. They're great for smoking, of course, and so...
I heard you were giving up. Daniel said Regan's giving up smoking this year, and I thought, yeah, that'll be right.
I'm not giving...
And I didn't realise it wasn't not cigarettes you're giving up. You're giving up smoking kawai.
That's right, I'm giving up smoking kawai. It's bad for my lungs.
Especially when they're still swimming.
That's right. They are still out there, and people are getting some good catches of kawai. So, you know, if you want to get the spin around, go and have a crack in the rivers.
Facebook going well?
Facebook is going well. If you haven't had a look at the Fishing Paper Facebook page, head there. Just type the Fishing Paper, of course, in the search engine there. Like the page, because we need more friends. But there's a great...
I didn't say anything, Regan.
There's a great wee story on there from a keen young Motueka fisherman, Connor Maloney, just moments before he hooked a huge stingray at the Nelson Wharf. Now, Connor's quote was, "It was as big as a car bonnet."
I bet it was.
I didn't realise you'd hook something like that down off the wharf.
Well, I'll tell you what, there's an amazing amount of fishing being done around the place at the moment, and a lot of surprises coming too. One of the surprises we talked about in the last show was there was a marlin apparently hooked in Tasman Bay, peeled off a lot of line, but was it, or did it, or does it? We'll find out after the break, because we have the man who allegedly hooked into the marlin joining us. But I have to say this too, heard a little bit of a whisper. Sean Emerson and Brian Fensom are sleeping together, or were sleeping together, on an overnighter up the Kenapuru the other night, and Brian got woken when Sean elbowed him in the ribs.
Yeah.
It was actually to get up to grab his rod because there was a big snapper on it. Coming up in a future edition, we'll have Brian's secret on overnight fishing, how he's so successful and why he's so successful. But I just learnt that the main reason is thanks to his wife, Andrea. Oh. She nags him a lot. Nag, 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 nag. And he says, to hell with you, Sean and I are going fishing. So there you go.
Brilliant stuff. All right, we'll have a look at the tides next if you are heading out on the water today. We're back. It is News Talk ZB Saturday morning, Fishing with Crimpy. Just before we launch into the tides, Mr. Crimp, if you don't mind, I just need to let you know about this Kontiki Open Day. There's going to be another Kontiki Open Day.
Oh, goody, goody, goody.
Oh, yes, at Rabbit Island. It'll be next month. Dave and the team from Sterling Sports are running this. So if you're thinking about getting one of these amazing machines, and they really are, you have to be at Rabbit Island 4 p.m, 6th of April. It's really, really well worth going and having a look at that. Rain, hail, snow, shine. They're going to be doing it. So make sure you get there 6th of April. We'll have more from Dave as the day looms closer.
All right, the weekend tides, Nelson, if you're heading out on the water, your high tide is 8 a.m. It's a 3.2 metre. Havelock high tide today is 22 minutes to 8 a.m, 2.4 metres, so not very far away. High tide at 23 to 8, 3.4 for Crissells. Stevens, your high tide is 7:30. So that's looming, 1.8 metre, small one up there. Westport, high tide today at 8:45. You've got a 2.6 metre tide. And all the way down the coast there at Greymouth, hi Greymouth people, put the jig cuppa on because your high tide is at 9:08, so you've got time for a brew, and it's a 2.7 metre one. We were talking earlier about a marlin being possibly hooked in Tasman Bay and definitely lost. And we have the man who allegedly, and I say the word allegedly because we don't want a court case over this, allegedly hooked into a marlin. And Mr. Wade Maisie, good morning.
Hi.
Nice to have you on the show.
Pleasure to be here.
Now, you're a friend of my friend Imo.
Yes.
So you're likely to be a bit of a reprobate in that case. How do you know Imo?
No, I've known Nemo for many, many years, probably 40.
Oh, really? She taught me. Did she tell you that?
Did she?
Yeah, I drew a picture.
No.
I drew a picture of her on the blackboard in that chalk that they used to soak in sugar and water. And when it dried, it was hard to rub off. You couldn't rub it off; it was indelible. So I drew a picture of her on the blackboard naked, and then drew clothes over top of her in real chalk. And when she came in after lunch, she grabbed the duster and she said, bloody crimp, I suppose you think you're funny," and wiped it out. And, of course, all the clothes came off and there was a big reclining picture of Imo there. But I digress. And the sign said, "This is Mrs. McCarthy at her best." You went fishing and you possibly caught a marlin in Tasman Bay. Now, are you winding me up or is this for real?
No, I definitely hooked into something rather large.
You were trolling for tuna, were you?
Trolling for tuna.
Talk us through what happened.
Trolling for tuna between Araroa Heads and Fairwell's Pit. Got a hook up. And it peeled most of the line off before I managed to pick the rod up.
When the tuna hook up, I mean, they fair peel line anyway. You know, you're cruising along at sort of like 6 knots and then the old line goes off. Was it distinctly different from a tuna run?
Most definitely, it ran most of the line out before I'd picked the rod up, and then I couldn't stop it and basically pinged the 500 metres of braid off.
So 500 metres of braid?
Mm.
So what size braid are you fishing with on the Albus?
It's 80 pound.
Wow. So did you actually try and put the brakes on it? Did you try and increase the drag?
Yes, I did, but it was pointless, really. It was either a snap-off or, the inevitable, really. So
did you get a sense at all that this fish was slowing, or was it making absolutely no difference what you were doing?
It didn't appear to make any difference. It was just, I didn't have any show of stopping it.
Yeah, sure it wasn't a big snapper.
I don't know. I didn't sight it.
Well, if it's over near Golden Bay, you don't know what sort of weed they've been on.
Exactly. In a case like that, it could have been anything.
But you've got a fair idea that it wasn't anything, that it was actually a marlin. And when we come back, we're going to find out why Wade thinks it was a marlin. When you first hooked up, Wade, did it take you by surprise?
Certainly did. We hadn't had any action at all up until that point, and I'd sort of got a bit slack on watching lines, and that's why I got away with so much line before I stopped the boat.
All right, stay tuned because the action comes next.
It's Fishing with Crimpy on News Talk ZB. Welcome along Saturday morning. We've got Wade Maisie on the phone.
Wade, out there chasing albacore, you put a bit of time into the albacore this season?
Yes, I have. We've been reasonably successful.
So who do you fish with?
Generally my wife or family.
Yeah. Is she a bit of a nagger?
No.
Oh, how did you manage to score one like that?
No, she's gotten right into the fishing.
Oh, that's good, because my mate Brian Fensom, he's got a nagging wife, and it helps him catch big fish. However, I digress. The old Emma and them have been out chasing the albacore as well, haven't they?
They have, yes.
So
That,
sorry, carry on.
they've had a few, yes.
What's your biggest albacore so far this season?
Oh, around the 20-pound mark.
Yeah, a few of those big ones come in a bit later on, didn't they?
Yes, yeah, the earlier ones were smaller.
What's your tips for being successful on the albacore? Have you got a theory how to catch the most?
Probably just be there and don't give up.
Yeah, Reagan gives up quite easily. He pouts if you don't get anything in the first 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Do you use any particular lures?
No, nothing in particular. Just your regular tuna lures. I usually troll a Rapala as well. Be a bit of variety.
Do you catch the tuna on the Rapala?
I have caught a tuna on the Rapala, yes.
What intrigues? How long have you actually been chasing the albies out there?
Probably last 3 years.
Yeah, so about the time that the rest of us have woken up and realised they're there. I'd be interested if anybody's out there who has actually been targeting them prior to the last 3 years, because I assume that they're there now, they've been there in the past. People are probably dying to find out why you thought it was a marlin. I've been teasing, I've been digressing, going off path. But you've got a fairly good idea that it was a marlin, Wade. Why was that?
Sometime later after this run, we saw it was a very, very calm day, and we saw a fish on the surface, like a dorsal fin flopping around in the water. And I thought it was a sunfish. And so we cruised up to it, and it disappeared before we could get close enough to get a look at it. But on the fourth attempt, I pulled in all the gear and cruised up to it, threw the boat out of gear, went up on the bow to have a look at this thing, and as we got right up close to it, it turned on its side and swam away. And at that point we got a really good look at it, and it was definitely a blue marlin.
Whoa. How big do you reckon it was?
3 metres.
Did you get a photo?
Maybe more, but
really?
I wouldn't be exaggerating at 3 metres.
3 metres, so that would be a fairly sizable fish. Could you give me sort of an idea of what you thought it would go weight-wise?
No idea whatsoever, no. I've never caught one. In fact, I've never seen one out of the water, so...
Why didn't you jump on it? Because Gannett Man did that out of a helicopter. You were only on a boat. Why didn't you jump on it?
No, it was on its way by the time we saw it. So there wasn't any chance of that.
Did you grab a photo on your iPhone or on your camera?
I wished we had.
Liar, your pants are on fire. There was no marlin there. What did you actually? What went through your mind when you first saw it?
I thought it was a sunfish. I've seen sunfish before, and I was convinced that it was a sunfish, and that's why we went to have a look.
Yeah, but when you got right up close and you realised that you were seeing, probably the first blue marlin in Tasman Bay, what thoughts went through your mind?
Couldn't believe it. Just couldn't believe it. I just, yeah.
Have you been back to try and catch it?
I haven't been back to catch the marlin, been back to catch some more tuna.
I suppose the chances of actually, when you're trolling for tuna with the lighter gear, the chances of hooking up on a marlin and landing it would be pretty difficult, wouldn't it?
Yes. Yep.
Hey, Wade. Oh, sorry. What were you going to say?
No,
I was just going to.
Done.
Yeah, no, I was just going to get rid of you. It's been an absolute pleasure talking to you, mate. And hey, well done on that, and good luck on the tuna. And say hi to Omo for me. We got to go. Jimmy's Bait Company is still looking for your kiddies fishing stories, and he's got a $50 wharf fishing packs up for grabs. So stay tuned.
And we'll see you next week.
Oh, bye.
Yeah, bye.